Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to issues 111 and also 112 of Build the Terminator.
The Terminator, week by week, built the T-800, the killing machine that defined a generation. Easy to build with high-quality metal components. You can control sound, lights, articulated limbs, and LED eyes, and explore the Terminator universe. Build the Terminator, issue 1, just $1.99.
So welcome back guys and girls, it's been a while since I filmed last. I've been waiting on some more issues, so obviously that's 115 to 118 because we're almost at the end now of obviously the Terminator, and we're finishing the base today. We're not finishing it, I'm just adding more details. There's going to be some searchlights to do in 111, and also we've got another part of the base here for 112, so we're going to be adding details to that. Then obviously in 113 and 14 we're going to be adding more details again on the other part of the base, joining that up with what we've got from the previous issues, you can see here in the back, and then also adding a circuit board, so that's going to be what's needed for the lights, so that's pretty cool. Doesn't look like there's going to be much to do. Remember I said to people who follow me and subscribe that I'm actually going to mod the base. I've got all my paints here, so I've got my earth texture there, I've also got my moss deposits. I've got some, this is acrylic paint here, and then also my last two paints, we've got some black, which I'll mix with this, and also this one as well. So I will make a video on the mod like I did for the skulls, so you'll see how to do it in each stage, how I do it, how I build it up, and obviously go over the paints more. I've also got to weather the Terminator one more time. I've got a bit more know-all, so I'm going to add that to it because I've done one coat already, which I have filmed, and there's going to be another video just showing it on the back as well, because I've only done the front so far, so I can add a bit of oil to the back of the Terminator, but obviously more focus on the front. But apart from that, we'll do this today. The next video that will follow will be obviously the mod for the base, and then you'll see the next issues coming, and probably, I mean, any day now the video will come, so I'm just going to try and get it done for you in the next week or two. So anyway, sit back and enjoy. Okay, so issue 111, and these are the parts here. So not much to do, got to build two searchlights. What I'll do is I'll build one, then I won't do the other one because you know how to do that, you've seen it, and then I'll skip straight to 112. So nice quick one. So in terms of the parts, we've got the LED housing parts there, got two of those. Then obviously you've got the, these are the actual LEDs themselves. So you've got two of those, two lenses. Then you've got the pegs, so the actual stands for the searchlights. Then here we've got the LED and cable, so one is red and one is clear. So obviously make sure you don't get them mixed up when you put them on the stand, because obviously they need to be in certain positions for where the different contrasting lights will go. In terms of the screws, so we've actually got 9 2x4mm PB screws here, 3 2x10mm PM screws, and there's also 2 M2 nuts in there, so that's what we need there. All you need is some screwdrivers, crosshead ones, and some masking tape apparently, but I don't think I'll need it. So let's get started. So steps 1 to 4, and like I mentioned, there's 2 different LEDs, so make sure you check them. 111.1 has a tiny little red dot within that LED, and the other one is clear. So remember that, obviously, because it's going to be important for when we're putting the searchlights into the base. So you're going to take the one with the red dot first, so 111.1, and you're going to bend the cables so they can fit through the recess in the edge of the circuit board, and then bend away from the back of the circuit board. So what we need now, I'm not going to bend it just yet, I'm going to take the actual bulbs, so 114, and flip it around. And obviously what you want to do, make sure that the LED is facing down, so this part here, the silver part, should be facing down, because otherwise the light will be facing the wrong way. So you need to push that through. There's 4 lips on there, and that's what will hold it down. So I'm just doing that now, and I'm going to thread over the wire just on the end part of this plastic just to hold that down into place. Remember, we did it before with the previous searchlights, because otherwise it will fall out. So like so. Once you've done that, you're going to take 111.5, so remember that was the casing for LEDs, and you'll see here just on that part there, there's a hole to thread through. So I'm going to pull that through like so. Just bring the wire right around, so you can just see that's come away. So I'm just going to pop it down again, just tighten up a bit more to make sure it stays into place. Okay, so for step 4, once you've done that, what you're going to do, you're going to thread over the casing to go over this part where the LED and bulb is. So there you see those peg holes, that's where, or screw holes, that's where you're going to thread it over. So make sure the holes are in alignment, and then once you're happy with that, just make sure my wire's pulled through first. So I've pulled the wire back through, so that's all connected nicely. You're just going to take 4 of the 2x4mm PB screws, that's those little silver ones, and you're just going to screw them in at the top there. So nice and simple. So I'll just do the first one and I'll skip ahead to the next steps. Okay, so that's how it's looking at the end of step 5. So for step 6, it actually says you need to put the lens into the opening of the housing, but mine were already in there, delivered, you know, in the packaging, so I can skip that part. But step 6 does say you need to put that in the top. So in case you're wondering why I'm not going to do that, that's the reason. So obviously now we're going to take the actual stand, so that's that little part there, and we're going to turn it around and we're going to thread the wire through. So it's going to go along that channel there, and then we're going to secure it into place with another screw, and that will be the bigger one, I believe. So just going to pull that right through, so that sits snug onto there, like so. That's how it should be looking. Then you'll take one of the long screws, obviously that's the PM 2x10mm, and also the nut. So you want to have the nut from the other side to secure it. So let's just get the screw first into place, and then the nut, you'll know which side it goes because it's actually the shape of a nut at the bottom there. So pretty simple. Okay, so I'm just holding the nut down on the other side so it doesn't fall out. I'm just going to secure them two together to finish this part for the first searchlight. The reason why it says about masking tape is so you can distinguish between which one is red and which one is white. It's obviously the clear being the white light, and this one being the red. So I'm just going to put this to one side so I know which one it actually is. I can remember, and if for any reason I don't, I'll just switch it over. So that's the first one done. I'm going to skip ahead to 112 now, so I'll do the other one off camera, and then you can see me working back on the base. Okay, so issue 112, guys and girls. So some cool bits here. So we've obviously got the first part of the base there. These are some quite nice details here. So you've actually got a vertebra and also a lower jaw. As you know, you can see kind of in the back, I've got mine there, which we'll see when we connect up with my mods. You also got a rock detail there. In terms of the parts, all you need is screwdrivers, super glue and a cocktail stick. We've also got a joining plate here, so that's a connector. So that's the metal one, just like we did on the first part of the base. And in terms of screws, you've got 5 PBW 2x4mm screws. You also need the lights that we just worked on. So I've got the red one there and the white one there, trying to get them mixed up. And that's it. So let's get started. Right, so before we do anything, we actually need the other part of the base, the first two that we worked on in the previous issues. So obviously be very careful when you're doing this, because obviously you don't want anything to fall off. Everything has been glued, but still it can be a little bit fragile. So I'm just going to spin it around, lay that down like so. And then in terms of where it's going to be connected up, so I believe it's going to be facing this way. So it's just like a jigsaw really, so you can see where that goes. And in terms of the connector plate, so let me show you the first one, which is there. Obviously that's what we worked on before. So this section here, you can see just there, that's where we're going to be putting the second plate on. So I'm just going to lay that back down, and then I'm going to connect them up. So I didn't manage to get the bulldog clips, I forgot to do it, so this is going to be a little bit of a tricky one, but bear with me and I'll get it all connected up. So all you need obviously for that are your PWB screws, 2 times 4mm ones. You've got to use all 4 to connect it, so I'm just going to grab those bits now. Okay, so I've got the screws ready, so I'm just going to get my first one prepped on the magnetic screwdriver, get the plate, and then do my best to connect this without the bulldog clips. So I'll do my best for you to see it as I'm doing it, but it's pretty simple, just a bit fiddly really. So I'm just going to secure that now. So just partially secure it, then I'm going to grab another one and get that all lined up. So, sometimes the magnetic screwdrivers are handy, but also can be a bit of a pain. Okay, so I've got all four lined up, just supporting it against myself, just to make sure that it doesn't move. So yeah, I think those clips would have definitely been handy. It's just more fiddly this way, but it's not impossible. At the end of the day, it's not rocket science. So just secure those 2. Okay, so that's all nice on there, nice and snug. So I'm just going to flip them around, and then we'll start cracking on with this new part of the base. Right, so that was obviously steps 1 to 3. Now we're moving on to step 4. And here at the bottom, you will see the jaw grooves. This is where we're going to put in that jaw. So I'm just going to check that it fits in there nice and snugly. So obviously it wants to be facing with the teeth up. You don't want it down, it's not going to go in there anyway. Once you're happy with that, all you're going to do is put some glue on the flat parts of the jaw. So obviously you can connect that down. So I'm just going to use a bit of glue actually from the bottom, because it's a bit of a faff, that cocktail stick. So just going to put a little bit, generous amount on, and then secure that. So nice and simple, nice and easy, and quick. In terms of the actual the jaw here, I'm not too sure if I'm going to modify it as well as the vertebra. I will see how it looks alongside my skull and jaw. Also, once the base has been modded as well. So once I've painted this base, I'm going to see how the standard finish on the paint of the bones looks against my ones and also the base. So we'll see. If it's good, I'll keep it as is. If not, I'll take it off and I'll repaint the jaw here, the skull that obviously came with this, and the vertebra. So we'll see. So that's that part there. Now we're going to work on step 6, that's the vertebra. So at the top here, there's 3 little holes, and that actually just fits in nicely with the vertebra at the bottom. So these little pegs here should fit in there nice and snug. So I'm just going to check to see which way it goes. It goes at a slight angle. So they're the 3 pegs that actually sit in those holes there. So I was trying to actually use those ones because I didn't think it'd actually be that raised off. Personally, I think it's a little bit too high. So obviously that's how it looks on the base, but it's quite elevated off the base itself. So I don't really think that's too great, but it's not the end of the world. It should look okay. But I think they should have put that a bit more snug to the base, but for whatever reason they haven't done that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the end of those little pegs, each 3, and then glue into place like so. So nice and simple, and obviously that's your steps 5 to 8. Hold that down. Okay, so for the final steps, steps 10 to 11, we're just going to take one of the searchlights. So it doesn't actually say, by the way, which one to use. So I'm going to chance and use the red one, and hopefully that'll be the right one. If not, I'll have to take it out. So you'll see here, just where I've put the vertebra in, there is, if I just twist that a bit more, a bit lower to the camera, sorry, that's where you're going to thread the peg through and the wire. So you just thread the wire through, put it through the bottom, and then just slot it in. So nice and simple. Be careful though not to break it. There you go, you heard that. So obviously you can see there that I can adjust the light. It's a little bit stiff, but I'll be honest, I'm not going to be moving it too often. So guys and girls, that is that stage complete. So I missed out step 9, that's obviously putting that rock on. And all you do, there is a little groove here at the very top, so you can see where my finger is. Pop some glue on and just thread that through. Hold it down, so it's going to be right near the vertebra. And then that will be all of this issue complete. So 112 is complete. You've got the vertebra, the jaw, the searchlight, and also the rock now joined. Okay, so issue 113, guys, we're working on the final part of the base. So obviously you've got the base there itself, then you've got a nice little mechanical detail there, so it's quite nice rusting on that. You've got 2 springs, you've got another mechanical detail, you've got rock as well, you've got 2 connector plates this time, so obviously that's going to secure the base more. Obviously join this one to the rest of it, and then I imagine there's one more just to make it a bit more solid. In terms of screws, you've got 9 this time, PBW 2x4mm screws with 1 spare. You obviously need a screwdriver and glue, and something I missed from the last one, last issue. So I mentioned I was going to use the red one for connecting. You actually need the red light for this issue, for 113. So I've taken it out of the 112 and switched it over with the clear one. So just make sure the red one is what you use for the 113 issue. So let's get started. Okay, so just like before, we're going to flip the base round so we can connect this part here and connect the plate up. So obviously be very careful when you do this, because even though I've glued the parts, they could still be potentially a bit likely to come dislodged. So just going to carefully flip that over, move this one here, and so the back part of the skull that comes with it, that wants to be facing towards this part of the jigsaw basically, so you'll know where it is based on that, how to align it up. So you can see how that fits on there nice and snug. So it's going to be 2 plates joined. The first one is there and the second one is there. So again, I'm going to have to be very careful with this so it doesn't move around too much, and also that it's in perfect alignment so that it doesn't actually come out of place and get dislodged. So I'm just going to do this side first actually, why not? And I'm going to just do 1 or 2 screws, and I'll skip ahead to the next part so you can see that. So that's the first one. I'm going to do another one from the other angle. I'll skip ahead to when that's done. Okay, so that's the first plate connected up nicely. So that's joined the base with the part for the skull. So now we want to do the same, obviously, for this side here. So the base itself is going to be nice and snug and hopefully nice and secure, because it's got some weight to bear, you know, with the Terminator, the accessories, and also accessories of mine that I'm going to add to the base. And the base will get heavier slightly as well from the paintwork I'm going to do, because there's quite a lot of layers that's required. So just screw that first one there, Okay, so as you can see, the two new plates have been fitted, and it definitely does feel more secure. However, I will say it still feels a tiny bit flimsy to me, so I am going to buy some bulldog clips and just add a bit more support from underneath, because it's not actually, there's still slight gaps there, and I want it to be obviously nice and flush and sit flat, and I've screwed up as much as I can on all of them, and still there's a little bit of a gap, so I'll use the clips just to give it a bit more security there. So obviously that's that part now. So we've worked on steps 1 to 5. Now we're going to move on to step 6. So we're actually going to start adding the accessories. So working on the actual mechanical details first. So these parts here, you'll see that there are recesses there, and you know which one's which because underneath is the shape, the groove of which it will sit in. So this one goes here, and that one goes on that side there. So you just want to put a little bit of glue again on the sides and the bottom of those components and fit them in to their corresponding section. Okay, so just leave that one there for a sec. And obviously this larger one here goes right next to the jaw from the previous issue. There's quite a nice detail on these parts. I'm impressed with them. They look nice. It's nice to see it coming together, you know, with these extra components separate to the ones that I've got for it. So I don't want to make it too busy obviously, but I do want a little bit more detail here and there. Okay, so that one sits at a slight angle, so you can see that pointing up now, whereas that one sits flat. Then we're going to add the rock detail, which goes along here. Then we will add the springs for steps 9 and 10. So it's showing, like before, when we worked on the first two parts of the base, that you don't need glue. They just screw into these grooves. So I will try that, but last time it didn't work and I had to just glue it down. So if that's the case, I'll just do that. Okay, so that's that rock there, sitting in nicely, just over the metal part, as you can see. So just hold that down for a minute. Okay, and then so for the first spring, so they're exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you use. You'll see here, this part here at the top, just spin that around. So just there is where the first spring will go. So let's see if it sits on there like it says it will. It just says to twist it on, but that's not holding on. So I'll use a little bit of glue. Actually, it does say to use a bit of glue, so I will do that. I don't know why I didn't say it on the previous one, because that's what made the spring stay down. I'm just going to put that on there now, and then we will do the other one, which is going to be at the other end down here. And for steps 10 and 11, so we're going to take the spring. You see I've put the skull down there, and the reason being is because it actually goes across the end at the bottom there. It just goes across the joining of the two bases, so there's no actual groove for that part from what I can see. So it's just a case of gluing it down, and that's it. So I'm just going to do that now. So just hold that down at the bottom there, as you can see. So just try and move my finger so you can see where it's going to go. And just hold that into place until the glue does its job. Okay, so for the final step, step 12, all we're going to do, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're going to use the red LED, and we're going to put that at the end there. So just very simply thread it through, pull the wire through the bottom, and then you'll clip the lights into place with the stand, and then that will be this issue complete. Okay, and there you have it. After 2.5 years almost, we've got a completed base with a Terminator soon to be stood on it. Okay, so issue 114, the final one for today. So here you can see we've got the circuit board, and this is what we're going to use obviously for connecting up the lights. So that's those smaller smaller connectors there, and obviously these larger ones I imagine are for the sound. This is the sound and light circuit board. So that's what you've got there. You've also got 5 of your PV 2x4mm screws. So what we need to do, we need to flip the actual base round because we're going to fix it underneath. So I'm just going to do that now, and then we'll get it into place. So before we get started, just remember that obviously at the top here, the section 110.1, so it's the red light. The 2 wires here that are either side of where the skull sits, they're obviously the red lights. So those ones are important when you're connecting up them to the circuit board. So it's these 2 here at the top where the back of the skull is, not these 2 lower parts. These 2 ones here, they are the clear ones. So taking the circuit board, I'm just going to flip this up quickly. Just within this gap here, there are 4 pegs. So I'm just going to spin that more there so you can see, and that's where you're going to align and screw onto the pegs. So in terms of the position of the circuit board, it needs to be facing this way down. These parts here, so the 2 smaller parts and the large one, they actually sit at the top. So I'm positioning it downwards towards the jaw because it won't go this way. So it has to go that way on the base like so. So align those over the peg holes, and then all you're going to do is you're going to grab your screws that I mentioned and secure it into place. So remember, that's the PV 2x4mm screws. You just need 4 and that'll be it. Okay, so off camera I've just partially screwed in the screws there. So this is where it is, just so you can then see me screw it into place. Obviously don't over tighten it because the circuit board is thin and fragile and you don't want to cause any damage to it. So as soon as you feel it biting at the bottom, just ease off. You know, something you can't see anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's not completely snug on there. It's not like to fall off. So that is steps 1 to 4 complete. Let's finish up now on actually connecting up the wires to the corresponding ports for the lights. This one here will be sitting in the middle port at the top there, so just that one there. So I'm just going to push that through. So that's in there, and the second red wire will actually sit in the port at the bottom there, furthest away from that black switch. So I don't know if you can see there's a black switch there. So it's going to go on the furthest point on the outside. So I've actually just switched them over because it wasn't actually reaching. In the photo it's a bit confusing, to be honest. It's showing that that should go there, but I don't think it really matters. I mean, they'll still work. So obviously then we're going to do the same for obviously what's closer here. So this clear light here will go in this one. So just push that through. And then obviously the one at the top will obviously go at the furthest point at the top as well because it's longer. Okay, just doing the last one now. Hopefully it won't overstretch too much. Slight pulling, but it will go in. Just got to be careful not to damage anything at this point because I don't want to have to reorder any parts. Okay, so all of those are in. I don't know if they work yet. Obviously I'll have to test them, but I'm not sure how to do that just yet. I don't think, well, there's no power supply needed. So that's how that should be looking at the end of issue 114 from the back. And then obviously here we have the front, so I'll spin that round, minus the skull and the other accessories. So that's that issue complete. So guys and girls, issues 111 to 114 are complete, and as you can see I've added on some of my details as well here. Just going to be careful because I haven't actually glued them on. So you can see I've got my skulls, I've also got a CPU chip as well. I've got a skull here, like from the actual Terminator, so the cranium part, which I've got to weather a bit more. And obviously you can see dotted around I've got jaws and other bits and bobs. But I really like how it's looking. Obviously it's a nice contrast of different colours of bones as well. Like I said, there is going to be a mod, and I'm going to paint the base because I don't quite like the finish of it. I don't think it's the best it can be, but I will be obviously working on that next, so you can see, and once I'm happy with it, I will then fix the other parts that I want to it permanently, so that's all nice and snug. But overall, I think it's pretty cool, to be honest. So obviously just got to work out the spacing as well for where the Terminator's going to have his feet. Obviously I need to crush one of these craniums as well, because I want him standing on that, like Steve Williams has done. Some of you guys have seen his Terminator on his own base he's made, separate to this. He's actually standing on the crushed skull, and I think that's a really nice effect. I quite like that. I might also, like I mentioned, weather the vertebra and other jaw, but I'll see how it looks, like I said, once I've done the base. So, but it is really cool. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get things connected up. Like I said, issues 115 to 118 are coming any day now. They were shipped over a week ago, so we should be getting them any day. And once I have, and I've painted the base, I'll then work on those, and we've only got 2 left. So, you know, it's sad times. You know, it's literally coming to the end now. Next month will be the final 2 issues, and I believe that's where we're going to get the pole to finally stand up the Terminator, and he can stop sitting on my fridge above me there, because that's been his home for the best part of 2 years. So I do know what we're doing at 115. We're going to continue to work on the base, and we're actually going to be adding a speaker as well. So more details to come, but that's all the details for the actual base. It's now, I imagine, going to be the stuff underneath, the electronics. We obviously need to get the stuff with the sound, the power and whatnot. But yeah, I'm really excited. So stay tuned for that one. It's coming very soon. I will do my best to get it out before the end of July. So if you're also an Iron Man fan, I haven't stopped making it. I've just been really busy, like with work, holiday, this obviously, so it's on hold. I've got 3 deliveries to do, so it's 12 issues. It will be caught up nicely with the arm completed on the right side or left, I believe, and then I can work on the other arm. This will take priority for now, so bear with me, fans of Iron Man and Marvel. I will be catching up with that very soon, so please have some faith. Like I said, when this is done, we will then go on to back to the Iron Man, and he will be my focus for the next, 18 months or so until it's complete. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, guys and girls, please remember as always to leave me a like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And obviously all subscribers who keep tuning in, thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you all soon, showing you my mod for the base, and obviously cracking on with the next 4 issues. So take care, and I'll see you soon.